Mickey. Hello and welcome. Welcome to the top of the world. Welcome to one of the many sawmills here in the north, far north. I've got a little job to do here, and the man that's been wanting this job, he's been waiting for a few weeks, because just as I was going to do it, then we're back, and then the wood, and then the storm, and then, you know, so it's kind of early, really, for me to get the sawmill out and start it up. But we've had this freakish winter which ends. Am I standing there looking at huge piles of snow still? Yeah, are you choking? Are you? Yeah. Why is that then? Because there's sawdust all over your ball. It goes down your throat and makes you give it the old... Right. That's not even gone very far, that. Where was it going? So, we've put the blade on, tensioned the blade. We've got to check the height as we do every winter. If I hold that up there, can they see you jumping? No, you shouldn't be jumping, should you? Because you've hurt your back again. Right. So, it worked well, tucking it round the corner there. Right, and it has been sheeted up, but it's been unsheeted for a few weeks because of this weird winter. So we've tensioned the blade. I'm just going to check the height is exactly where it should be on the measure. So you check the height to from the blade to the bottom of it, you know, and then we'll just cut this up. I'm assuming this is siding for an outside building, because he wants them all at 145 by 20. That's in millimetres, not inches, obviously, because the trees are only sticks. How are we doing with the trees? Yeah, firewood's done. Now I'm on cordwood, slatwood, rubbish wood, whatever you want to call it. Let me show you what's going on here. There's the pile of snow I'm looking at. Still got snow in the yard. All the firewood is good. Gone. This. Right, cut this up because I'll burn all this through the summer for heating the water, because it's free, obviously. And there's another pile over there which is in my way, because at some point we're going to start ripping down that building. Now, there is a problem. For 3 years, I've been saying I'm going to tear down that building and build a new tractor shed for my tractor over here, which I fixed. Yes. Is there now a problem? Not really. Good boy. He's chasing birds. Yeah, birds. Birds. Honestly, what is he doing? What's that, birds? Go on, get him. Right then. He hasn't quite figured that one out. Anyway, let's get the sawmill up and running. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into the sizes you want, so I'm going to pop it straight in the back of the van, then we can go and deliver it, because like I say, he's been waiting a few weeks. Lives across the other side of the river. Fortunately, we don't have to swim. We can drive across the bridge. So I took the liberty of charging the battery up. Now I'm going to start it up and let it run for a while to warm up and do its thing. Give it some fresh gas. it's only a few years old, but it does always start well after 7 months of being shut down and going through silly extreme temperatures. It just Collier engines, made in America apparently. Because this is greenwood, cut this year, that sawdust is no good either. In fact, if anything, it's a liability. Because if you don't know what you're doing with wet sawdust, I'm sure I've explained this, and you leave it somewhere inside a wood shop and it heats up, it will start to compost, and as it starts to compost it heats up even more, and then it accelerates its heat, and then it catches fire, and then it burns through the plastic bag and opens up and exposes it to oxygen. It explodes like this and sets multiple fires all over the shop. And then what happens is your shop burns down, the fire investigators come, and they can't necessarily find any accelerant, although if they do, they will, and if they could, they would, because that obviously voids your insurance. But what they end up finding is multiple seats of the fire. And then it looks like somebody's gone round with a bit of paper and a lighter and lit multiple fires to burn down their shop. And they get out of paying insurance. Ask me how I know. Yeah, and it's wet sawdust, composting and then overheating, and it has to be left for a while. But if you are like a hobby machinist and you do a bit and it's wet wood and then you leave the dust, or dust and wet dust and shavings is the worst because you get a bit of air in there, and then you leave it sat, it will compost, it will heat up, it may ignite, and or heat up enough to melt the plastic bag. That allows a rush of oxygen in. That rush of oxygen, any small embers, makes them burn, and away she goes. Yeah. What have you got to say about insurance company, Simon? Lying, scamming bastards. All of them. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing with this big lump here. Doesn't make any sense. Then you can say, well, Simon, what about the people that scam insurances? Oh, there's a lot of people scam insurances, but there's not as many insurances that scam people. That's what we have to say about that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, if I'm honest. So this is the right width that he wanted, 145 millimetres wide, and then I can just slice it into 3/4 inch 20 mil boards until there's nothing left, and then we've got these two lumps here. And I'm going to let the battery charge up a bit because it's quite clearly struggling to sharpen the blade I've got going on in there. nice little first run up of the year on the sawmill. The shame of it is it's waste wood. If you'd left them in their whole logs instead of trying to put them on the chainsaw mill, this pile here, none of this is the right size. All of it is the right width, none of it is the right depth. All of this is exactly what we wanted, because this is 20 mil and this is all 25 mil. And the reason for that is, on the very bottom cut, the last cut you can make on that saw is 1 inch, 25 mil. You can't go any lower than that. So if they were in whole logs, there would have only been 2 boards here that were 25 mil thick. All the rest would have been the right size. So this is an unfortunate waste of petrol, time, effort on his chainsaw mill. And now, if this was dry, I could take it in a shop, put it through another machine, plane one side and get it down to the right thickness. I'm not going to do that because it's wet. And because it's wet and sappy, it's just going to goo up all my machines and it just isn't worth it. So, there we go. Like I say, good little run up on the mill, that. Yeah, as expected, I've just got to wait for that battery to charge up, and then I can finish sharpening the second blade that's been set out here, and we can go and drop this off. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.